Si ha vivido en el boxeo en los 60s, en los 70s, en los 80s, en los 90s, en los 2000, 2010, 2020, o sea, llevas 7 décadas viendo boxeo, me voy a ir para adelante y ahorita me regreso. ¿Cuál es la mejor época que ha disfrutado más como promotor?
They're all different. I mean, you have to understand, I was based originally in New York. And so the only Hispanic fighters that I was aware of were Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. And it wasn't until I moved to Las Vegas in the late 1980s that I realized how many great Mexican fans there were in the United States and how many great Mexican fighters there were. But up to that point, I had very little contact with promoting a Mexican fighter or a Mexican American. I remember doing a couple of fights for Carlos Palomino, but it was mostly, my Hispanic fights were mostly Puerto Ricans, Panamanians like Duran, and Dominicans.
Voy a ir y voy a regresar rápido. Me voy a atrasar tantito y regreso ya para irnos a puro boxeo. Anduvo de actor. Mi amigo hizo una película, ¿no? O algo así. Fui invitado a un cumpleaños de él y salió una parte ahí actuando, mi amigo.
Yes. I had a friend from Jamaica who received a lot of money from the Jamaican government to make a movie. And he had big actors, Calvin Lockhart, who was a famous actor. And he asked me to come to Jamaica to have a little part in the movie. So I, of course, went down. It was great to go to Jamaica. It's a good place to visit. And gradually they expanded my part. So I stayed there for like 10 days. And in this movie, I was the only white guy in the movie. And I was the bad guy. And at the end, they shoot me and take me into prison. And the movie definitely has to be rated as one of the worst films ever made.
Por eso ya no siguió, no more.
Other promoters got copies of this film. And they would have, when they'd have a party after a fight, they would show part of the film because it was so terrible.
Entonces dejemos lo de la película, cambiamos de tema. Oiga, señor Bob, cuando usted entra en la era de los 80s, ya venía de los 70s, ya había promovido a Muhammad Ali, había promovido a Monzón, llega a los 80s y se encuentra con esos monstruos de los 80s que prácticamente eran los 4 fantásticos. ¿Qué pensaba en ese momento de tener esos peleadores para enfrentarlos entre ellos?
Well, that was a great period, and it coincided with the company HBO going into boxing. HBO was basically a company that showed movies on television, and they decided to televise boxing. And I was the first promoter for them, and that started a whole new era where they were very well financed, and they enabled me to have the wherewithal to promote guys who were very expensive like Roberto Duran and Leonard and Hagler and Hearns. And when I promoted you, that was based on getting available dates from HBO, you remember? And then later on, pay-per-view, but also on the HBO platform.
¿Cómo ha vivido la transición de tener que vivir en diferentes eras como promotor y mantenerse ahí? ¿Cómo mucha gente puede desaparecer? Como en esta era han cambiado de pay-per-views y de series, se fueron a las aplicaciones. Pero yo me acuerdo que en aquella época era televisión abierta, canales de pago, pero en cable, luego pay-per-view, hizo circuito cerrado. O sea, ¿cómo ha pensado, qué ha hecho, cómo piensa para ayudarse a las transiciones de los cambios de nuevas tecnologías?
Well, I realized early on that as you get older, you get tied into the past. And in order to succeed as a business, you have to keep taking younger people into your company because they are aware of the new technology. And I think the strength of Top Rank has been that we always went out and hired young people who were inexperienced in many cases, but knew the technology, and that gave us the strength to compete over the years. Because Eric, it's hard for you to even to come to grips with this, but when I first started, there were no satellites, no domestic satellites, no international satellites. We had to take a film of Ali's fight and rush it to a plane and get it to England, hopefully the next day, so they could show it the next day. I mean, that was how, as we look back, archaic it all was. But again, you have younger people, there's all new ideas, there's new technical innovations, and there will continue to be. What we have now will not be here 10 years from now. It'll be much improved, much easier. What exactly it'll be, I don't know, but it'll be different, it'll be new, and it will be the way that people communicate.